special, I agree. Very special. But Port Royal is also very strategic. So a few years ago, when we were looking at how do we increase the productivity of the country, or put it another way, how do we create new industries for growth, Port Royal was high on the agenda because you have certain heritage assets here that have been for decades, maybe centuries, underutilized. But if properly developed, could provide the revenues that would not only develop Port Royal, but develop the wider Jamaica. But to get to that point, we have to make certain investments in Port Royal. And one of the critical investments to be made was to put in place the facility for docking cruise ships. We have made that investment. The second investment was to put in place some facilities to receive the cruise ship visitors when they come. And we have put in place the new pier and customs facilities there. It's a lovely facility. We have built a new museum and restaurant, which I will be back here to open shortly. Yes. And we have started to do some improvements of the sidewalk and various things within the town. Investment. And then now, we have made this massive investment again in the water. We have one more major investment to do, which is on wheels already, and that is in the sewage. We have actually built the sewage plant. Now, we have to lay the pipes to connect the homes and the facilities to that treatment plant. And then, another major investment to come, which is to give you a beautiful road from the roundabout straight into the town. Now, all of this investment that is coming here, it is to create Port Royal as a new destination, not just for tourists to come, but to enhance what is already the case. Port Royal is the destination for people in Kingston and St. Andrew. On the weekends, the place is packed. It is an entertainment and festival destination. But to be able to have that to the extent where it adds significantly to our GDP, you will hear this term used, gross domestic product, we have to make these significant investments. So you're going to see now, once we put in the sewage and fix the road, there's already a hotel here, which I gather is doing quite well. It's the Excelsior. You're going to see more hotels come. You're going to see the restaurants improve. And we are going to make the investments, not to displace the people who are here, who have built an industry, a name and a brand, but to support them further in improving and expanding their product. So that when we talk about Port Royal as a destination now, this is going to be the place where people will choose to come and have their festivals and concerts, where cruise ships will come to explore the rich history that is here in your various museums. The cemeteries are a place where people come to visit. We have such wealth of historical sites that we can develop. So Port Royal is going to become a new economic hub for Kingston. It will add to our GDP. It will create revenues which will more than pay back for the over $2 billion worth of investment that we have made when you add up everything together. And it will last us, it will give us a 20, 30, 40-year run of revenues from which we now can use to give water to people in other areas of Jamaica. So that is the strategy of the government. So I want you to, as persons listening to me speak and say, well, how Port Royal get and we don't get? You are going to get, my friend. And the government has been wise in how we spend. We are spending in a fiscally responsible way, in a sustainable way, in a strategic way. And no one can say that the investment in Port Royal will not yield results for the country. But having said that, I wanted to commend the NWC for being good stewards of the public resources and being able to make these kinds of investment. And I commend them because the history of the NWC is that they have not been able to make these kinds of investment in a sustained way. But more than that, they have not been able to make these kinds of investments without government support or borrowing. I want to emphasize that. Everybody wants the government to do everything, which is right. That's why you have governments. You put them there and you give them the authority to be able to treat with the situations that you have. But the responsibility of the citizen and the electorate does not stop there. How does the government provide for you? There are some people who really don't care as long as it's provided. But we have seen, and it has become a destructive element of our history, that if you provide development through borrowing, you limit the potential of the development, not just in the long term, but in the short term, and you end up paying more for the development than you would have. And worst of all, you end up burdening future generations to pay for your consumption today. This government is committed to develop Jamaica without depending on borrowing. That commitment depends on a wise electorate. That commitment depends on a wise electorate. Jamaica can easily go back to the point where we are an indebted country. And these facilities that we are now launching and opening and showing off about, they stop. In fact, the reason why we are in the position we are in is because we try to develop by borrowing. We must now turn the leaf in that book of our history and go to a new chapter where we develop by growing. And so the investment in Port Royal is that strategy, to develop by growing. That is what we're doing. The NWC has followed that policy mandate, and the growing requires effective management of public resources. And the NWC has improved its management significantly. I want to commend the Board of Governors and the management of the NWC. They still have a way to go, but we must acknowledge when progress has been made. The NWC has not come to the government for any fiscal support for a little while. I know they have some challenges with the new remuneration package. package, and during COVID, you may have had to come for some support, but not because of bad management. And very, not because of bad management. The economists would say exogenous shocks, things outside of your control. But even then, we have the Lower Jackson Water Supply Project, which serves Harriman, Tavistock, Whitcomb, Mountain, Spring, and Sunset Avenue. And that is in progress. We are expecting to complete that by April 2025. That is an investment of 350 million Jamaican dollars, another community that is benefiting. But we didn't borrow to do this. This is being done out of the NWC's revenues. I want to emphasize that. In St. Anne, in the St. Anne's Bay to Landover pipeline, we're making good progress. In fact, we're well advanced. We expect to complete that in May 2025, and that's $550 million worth of expenditure. That one is another strategic investment, because that pipeline is going to open up great opportunities for housing along that corridor, meaning more revenues coming in to the government. Not more taxes now, but more revenues from the existing tax base that we can spend on other communities. See the strategy? Investing to grow the economy, to increase revenue so we can spend on your individual needs. This is out of the NWC's revenues. We have Rosemount, Camelot, and Discovery Bay in St. Anne. I'm wondering why St. Anne is coming up so often. Hotels, sir, hotels. Hotels, okay, good. And in December, this we expect to be finished December this year. That's $350 million again out of the NWC's revenues. Plumbago, Orchid Park, sewer extension works in Mona, and I see that that is going on, expected to complete that in March 2025, $75 million out of the NWC's revenues. That is not from government support through any taxes or from any borrowing. That's strictly from the good management of the NWC to generate the revenues to make these investments. And we have some upcoming water supply projects in Eastern St. Mary. We're going to make an investment there in the St. Mary water supply project. That's $600 million. In Port Moran, Springfield, the Stanton water supply in St. Thomas. That's an investment of $550 million. I believe the one in St. Mary is already complete, or almost complete. In Juno Crescent, that's in Clarendon, in Maypen, we are going to make an investment here, which I believe just started $375 million. Again, all of this is out of the Again, all of this is out of the Hill in Trelawney, $120 million. I believe that project is ongoing. And then we have the Montgomery Corner to National Hero Circus pipeline by Morosco Road, $400 million. That should start this year. Ferry to Rock Pond Water Supply in Forest Hill, you mentioned that. That's a $1 billion project. And I know the people up in Red Hills and Forest Hill and all of those areas who have been complaining all along about your water supply, they'll be very happy to hear that this project, the minister is advising that the procurement is finished, so the next stage is contracting and then execution. And then another important one that needs to be done, Mona, Wellington Drive, Monroe Road, Old Oak Road, Retreat Avenue, Seymour Avenue. We're going to put in place a proper sewer system for that entire area. That is 1.4 billion Jamaican dollars out of the NWC's revenues. Not borrowing, not from government, not from your taxes, but just from the operations of the NWC. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have detained you long enough, and I believe that my point has been made to you, that you have a good government, a government that understands the delicate balance that has to be maintained with the national interest and with your personal interest. And it requires skillful, thoughtful government to be able to balance those needs. To deal with the needs of the future while addressing the needs of the current. And to address the needs of the current without in any way damaging the possibilities of the future. So, Madam Councillor, it's good to be in your area, and I'm sure that you, though we are on opposite sides, but I'm sure that the message, I see the smile on your face, and I'm sure that the message has resonated with you. God bless you all. Happy New Year. Peace, productivity, prosperity be yours, and victory be to all the Dominicans. God bless you. Target for senior superintendent here, right? I want to congratulate her on the great effort that she has put into this division.
Thank you very much.
But you know what they say, what is the reward for good work?
More work and hard work.
More work.
So I'm going to hear a fire.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
as an operation
congratulations.
officer, and I will continue to do my best.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.